Hi guys, welcome back to another video for SMARTPATHTUTORING. In this video, we're looking at GCSE biology, focusing on food tests. So there are some clever ways to identify what type of food molecule a sample contains. For each of the tests, you need to prepare a food sample. It's the same each time though. Here's what you do. So you get a piece of food and break it up using a pestle and mortar. Transfer the ground up food to a beaker and add some distilled water. Then you give the mixture a good stir with a glass rod to dissolve some of the food. We then filter the solution using a funnel lined with filter paper to get rid of the solid bits of food. So you can use the Benedict's test to test for sugars. Sugars are found in all sorts of food, such as biscuits, cereal, and bread. There are two types of sugars, non-reducing and reducing. You can test for reducing sugars in foods using the Benedict's test. So you prepare a food sample and transfer 5 centimeters cubed to a test tube. Then you prepare a water bath that is set to 75 degrees Celsius. We then add some Benedict's solution to a test tube, about 10 drops using a pipette. You then place the test tube in the water bath using a test tube holder and leave it in there for 5 minutes, and you can make sure the tube is pointing away from you. If the food sample contains a reducing sugar, the solution in the test tube will change from the normal blue colour to green, yellow or brick red. It depends on how much sugar is in the food. You can use iodine solution to test for starch, so you can also check food samples for the presence of starch. Foods like pasta, rice and potatoes contain a lot of starch. Here's how to do the test. So you make a food sample and transfer 5 centimeters cubed of your sample to a test tube. Then you add a few drops of iodine solution and gently shake the tube to mix the contents. If the sample contains starch, the colour of the solution will change from browny orange to black or blue-black. You can use a Bioenergetics test to test for proteins. So you can use a Bioenergetics test to see if a type of food contains protein. Meat and cheese are protein rich and good foods to use in this test. Here's how it's done. So you prepare a sample of your food and transfer 2 centimeters cubed of your sample to a test tube. Then we add 2 centimeters cubed of Bioenergetics solution to the sample and mix the contents of the tube by gently shaking it. If the food sample contains protein, the solution will change from blue to purple. If no protein is present, the solution will stay blue. You can use the Sudan 3 test to test for lipids. So lipids are found in foods such as olive oil, margarine, and milk. You can test for the presence of lipids in a food using Sudan 3 stain solution. So you prepare a sample of the food you're testing, but you don't need to filter it. Transfer about 5 centimeters cubed into a test tube. Then we use a pipette to add 3 drops of Sudan 3 stain solution to the test tube and gently shake the tube. Sudan 3 stain solution stains lipids. If the sample contains lipids, the mixture will separate out into 2 layers. The top layer will be bright red. If no lipids are present, no separate red layer will form at the top of the liquid.